Chapter 2, Drawing Exercises. Basic AutoCAD for Interior Design, CAD 134. Joe Cerrone. We're going to take a look at these different exercises. There's 4 drawings that we're going to create. We're going to just draw this with lines. We'll draw a star, and we'll just draw these other shapes and geometries, and we'll explain a little bit about using CAD as we go along with that. So I'm going to go into my AutoCAD main splash page, and I thought about whether we should use a B-size architectural title block for this or just go with, just starting from scratch. And I decided I think the way to start this would be just with a blank AutoCAD screen. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to go up here and say File New, or you can click on this little new icon up here at the top. And I'm going to use this AutoCAD template or default template, and that's basically a blank screen. And so as we look at this, we have the ribbon across the top here, and so here's our draw panel, and if we want to, we can pin that. It's got commands like line, polyline, circle, arc, and then rectangle, ellipse, hatch. What you'll notice is if you hover over a command, it begins to give you help. And so if you're not sure how to use the command, you don't necessarily have to open the book. You can use the software to figure it out. And so it says create straight line segments, and then those little green letters with the X's show the mouse clicks. And so that's mouse click 1, 2, and 3 while we're in the line command. And so if we wanted to draw a star, we could go line command. Now, before I draw the line command, this is what's called the grid, and we have snap as well. And I'm going to turn the grid and the snap off. And so I like to kind of start off the CAD system the same every time by going here and making sure the menu bar is on. I'll turn it off and then turn it back on again. And then under Format, under Tools, there's something called Drafting Settings. And here you have your snap and your grid, and I'm just going to turn them both off. If I turn them on, I'll get this grid pattern, and what it does is it actually bounces to the corners of it, and so you can get perfect squares as you draw them. And then if I want to turn that off, I can go back to my tools, drafting settings, and uncheck them. You can also hit like the F9 key or the F7 key, and then with the grid off, I'll get rid of these lines and we'll draw our star. And so I can draw a star. It says draw at any size that you want. And so if we just go with the line command, we can just go here and kind of come up with this shape. And you'll notice that it's really precise. And this is what's called O-snap here. I'm going to right click and hit enter with O-snap being on, and that's what this button is here, Object Snap Settings. It'll gravitate, and I'm going to hit the escape key to get out of that. Again, you can activate all these through the drafting standards, drafting settings. And so here's snap and grid. We'll come back to polar tracking, object snap, and so when object snap is enabled, it'll grab endpoints and things like that. If I disable it and I say OK, and then I draw another star, and let's change the color. I'm going to go to my Home tab here, and I can change the color by just going here. I'm going to go with orange. And so if I wanted to draw with orange, whoops, another star, and this time I don't have O-snap on. And so if I zoom in here, you can see I can get it really close, but it's not perfect. as you get into working with CAD systems. And you can click on them with grips and you can grip them together, and then you can hit escape. And so that's our star. Next thing we're going to draw is the pattern shape. And so in our exercises we have this pattern shape. I'm going to erase this, crossing window, erase, and then I'm going to, I think I'm just going to keep my orange star. I'm going to delete that, and then I'm going to draw that little mesh. I'm going to pan this and turn it a little bit. I think I'll use purple, and I'll draw with the line command. And so I can draw just a line like that, right mouse click, enter. You can go back, get the line command again, draw another line. And they weren't real precise about whether these are like parallel or, so just draw the lines as you see them. And so they have like 3 lines like this, and then they have another 3 lines that crosses them this way. Right mouse click, enter. You can also right mouse click and to repeat the last command. It's a little faster. Kind of likes to go right mouse, left mouse, and so you can go like that, and then you can repeat it rather than go up and get the line command again. And so those are our lines. And then if we wanted to draw some circles with different sizes, let's go and use a different color here. We'll use red. These are your standard colors. They're actually color number 1, color number 2, color number 3. If you go to the more colors option, you can get these index colors, and so like I say, see that's color 1. It even says 1, 2. When AutoCAD first came out, it had 8 colors, and then they added them as the computers got more and more developed. So we're going to go with, let's go with orange. Let's go back here and just get an orange. And we're going to draw some circles. And so we have the ability to draw circles with center radius, and it's just a circle like that. I forgot to change my color, so I'm going to come over here and go with purple. Now purple's, I can erase this one. And so you can create these circles. You can create them to specific sizes too. I mean, it depends on the scale of the drawing, but when we create something like circle center radius, we can click where that circle is going to be, and then we can type in the radius. And so I could say 1, enter, and now if I analyze that, it's a 1-inch radius circle. And we can delete it. Alright, continuing on. And then lastly, we can make this kind of shapes with the circle in the center of it. And for this one, I think we'll go with another color. Let's go here, and we'll go with this blue. And I'm going to just make a circle. And then I'm going to draw lines, kind of like a puzzle. This is what the polar snap does. You can see how it keeps everything, and it's called like polar tracking, where you can see the word polar on there. And I'll explain that. What it does is it draws the line at a perfectly straight angle. And I'll hit escape to exit out of that, and then I'll turn that off. You can either turn it off here, or again under Tools, Drafting Settings, Polar Tracking, off. And with it off, it won't be as perfect. It won't be straight 90-degree perpendicular lines. And so if I draw a circle And then if I draw the lines without the polar tracking being on this time, they don't have to be straight. Because what the tracking does is it facilitates making lines along tracks, along 90-degree tracks or 45-degree tracks. Alright, and so that's our drawing exercise. I think I'll erase this one. And if I wanted to move something, so we went and looked at some of the draw commands, just a quick modify command. If I want to move something, I can say move. And again, you can hover over it to get help. But essentially, if I say move and then I select what I want to move and hit enter, and then I have to read the command, where do I want to move it from? Select the base point. And where do I want to move it to? And so if I wanted to maybe organize this a little bit, move my star, I just hit enter there, and then where I want to move it from, where I want to move it to, move, crossing window, enter, where you want to move it from, where you want to move it to. If you want to put a rectangle around it, make it look kind of nice, you can do that. We can add our name. We'll go here to multi-line text, and we'll make a little box. Green check mark. And so you can put your name and the date on there, and feel free to embellish the drawing. I'm going to save it. I'm just going to put it in my downloads as we'd like you to use your initials, and so I'm just going to put my initials dash, and we'll call this lab 2, and I'll save it. And what it's going to do is it's going to save it as an AutoCAD drawing file to wherever I have my directory pointed. I'm just going to put it in my downloads for now. And then when I want to turn in this drawing assignment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into D2L, and I'm going to go to the assignments folder. And in the assignments folder, I'm going to turn in the chapter 2. Let me just turn it on so that I'll go as a student. Under assignments is where we'll turn in our drawings, and so here's assignments, and I'm going to turn in my chapter 2, and all I do is hit the chapter 2 link, and then I can go and say add a file. You're welcome to record a message. You can just drag and drop, or you just go and locate where you had that file. Add it. And then if you'd like, you can add a message. And you could start a dialogue and ask questions if you have any questions for it. But you can see I've added the file, and then I just put a little note there. You can always ask for an extension, or you can ask for something like I had trouble with this or I had trouble with that, and we can open up a dialogue within the D2L. We'll submit that, and then you'll get a little balloon that tells you that you've submitted the file successfully, and we will be able to then go through and grade that for you. Alrighty, back to the main splash page and the content section, and that completes the lab exercise for chapter 2 module 2.